On a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the highest number, of course, and 1 being the lowest, where's human consciousness on a scale of 1 to 100? Just curious. My number actually is 26. 26. We just kind of crossed over the quarter point of 25. Consciousness begets consciousness. It's kind of a snowball effect, and it just starts happening. So it's not going to take another 3 or 4 million years to get to 50. It could just be a matter of 10 years or 15 years. Kind of doesn't matter ultimately. But just to give you kind of a concept of consciousness is actually kind of low. It really is. And it wanes, it goes up and down. There's been points where it could have been 14 gone to 20, back down to 8. Consciousness kind of comes and goes, but right now it's got a full head of steam on, and with the embodied masters, with you in a very conscious human state, it's going to accelerate quickly. There's going to be problems because old systems simply won't be able to handle consciousness. And it's not necessarily about wars or anything like that, but old systems just won't be able to handle it. So it's going to mean people have to be very flexible, very adaptive. One more thing. I'm going to go on a bit of a God rant. And if you don't like God rants, go to sleep.
Oh.
And the reason why I am, this is the time of consciousness. And consciousness on the planet, the number 26 consciousness, is a direct result of God. Of God. Not that God is inflicting it, but God. It's the glass ceiling of consciousness. It's the glass ceiling of humanity's ability to expand. God. God. The concept of God, the consciousness of God, is what's keeping things kind of bottled up. Now I can stand here and talk about God and not worry about getting hit by lightning, because that's not my God that does that. It's somebody else's and their fear. I have no fear of God because I am my own God, as you are your own. But this planet right now is held in this, has this glass ceiling of God. In other words, it's keeping things artificially held in. It's humans' belief of, a very old belief of what a God is. And part of your residue, my friends, is still that God, is still some old issues about God. Partly because of your upbringing, or partly just because mass consciousness creates it. God is nothing more than mass consciousness. That's simple. The God that humans supposedly worship, that God it doesn't really exist. That God's not the creator. The God that humans worship is just mass consciousness. And it's funny because some of the most righteous, belief-oriented beings that I've ever met had the greatest doubts. The ones who really tout God, they bang on the Bible, they spout scripture, they carry on about God and Jesus, and they have no concept of what either one of those are. They are actually the greatest doubters. But what do they do in their doubt? They become the greatest defenders. They become the greatest defenders and judgers of others. You look into the heart of one of these very conservative, ultra-Orthodox types, the greatest doubters. Why? Well, it's obvious. They talk God, they preach God, they judge based on God, but they've yet to experience it. They've yet to feel it. So wouldn't that cause doubt in your own mind for you? If you're the biggest advocate of something, but yet you've the biggest advocate of lemon meringue pie, but you've never tasted it at all, wouldn't that cause some internal conflict that maybe there's something wrong in paradise? And that's exactly what we have on this planet. Those who are vigorously holding on to a God that doesn't exist. They have no concept. It's a very old human God. I bring this up because it's an issue that still is with each and every one of you to a degree. God is that thing that humans place above and outside themselves. The greater power, the unknown, the mysterious. But there's been a weird consciousness about God to take it and put it outside of oneself, to make it something somewhere else. Almost irreverent to say that it's here. So where is consciousness? Out there, somewhere else, unknown, to be discovered, the greater being. Consciousness has put God out there. And that's why we're still at 26. But this group has the ability to put it right here. The consciousness of spirit, source, the I am, I exist, to put it right here. That's what embodied enlightenment is about. Not the consciousness of a God out there or a creator out there, but right here. Sounds so simple. It is. It's just, yeah. See, where there was no reality, where there was no anything, where there was no truth before, suddenly it becomes so once consciousness is there. You could argue and say, well, how do I know? How is it going to be that suddenly God's in here? Because your consciousness is in here. Because your consciousness of God is suddenly integrated, embodied, accepted, and allowed within. And then it becomes so. It feels magnificent. But I said at the end of our beginning that there's still some dirt on there. There's still an attachment to a mass consciousness God, which is not God at all. God help all those who believe in that God, because it's not true whatsoever. Nothing to do with truth. If somebody came to me and said, Saint-Germain, what is, Adamus Saint-Germain, what is God? Consciousness, awareness, I amness. And then everything springs from there. Life, creativity, experiences, joy, struggles, everything. But it starts, God is just the I exist. And it's not out there, it's right here. Yeah. I heard you, brother. Yeah. Pass the basket quickly, Linda. Quickly. Here, got a bowl here. I just pass that around. Okay. So, my friends, the bottom line is the 26, the number, because there is a glass ceiling on God. People are afraid to break through it. They're terrified to break through it. They would rather actually encounter Satan than try to break through that glass ceiling of God, because it's going to shatter every belief system. It's going to shatter all their attachments and connections with what they think is reality, which is not really reality whatsoever. It's going to change everything. And it is.